Now, when we talk about the tensions in Minneapolis, and you are correct that the city is getting a lot of attention, and ICE is in other parts of the state and parts of the country. But something I've heard across the political spectrum and from commentators on the right is that those who are blowing whistles and recording ICE actions and protesting are fanning the flames and making everything worse. Do you support the ongoing protests in your city?
I've seen like very well organized protests. I was out a couple weeks ago. It might even be a few weeks now at the scene. The reports were coming in that there was an ICE shooting in a part of the city that I represent. I had heard like so many different things before. Minutes it took me to get there, and I heard so many versions of what was happening on the scene that I went over there because I thought, okay, I can de-escalate, I can figure out what the real story is that's happening here, and I can let the crowd know. So when I got there, there were a lot of people I recognized. There were a lot of community members who just came out of their house just like me to see what was happening. And then over time I started to see that there were agitators there, people I didn't recognize. So I think there are some well organized protests that don't cause harm to the city or anyone else. And I think there's some agitators here that are not as organized as the people of Minneapolis and don't want to be organized like the people who are going out to check on their neighbors. So I've seen it both ways.
You've seen it both ways. Do you think that accounts for some of the disparity in media coverage? Because in prepping to talk to you, I feel like you go to one site and it describes a situation in one way, and you go to another site and it uses completely different language. Is that because of that difference between the organized citizens and the agitators?
I think that plays a part in it, but I mean, I saw that in real time happen, like at the same scene, right? I got there and there's like my neighbors there. There are violence prevention groups and there are people that are like, we're going to find out what's happening. We're going to make sure the people, I mean, these things are happening in residential neighborhoods. So you're talking about like this shooting that I was at, this is on a block with, 20 houses on each side of the street in the middle of North Minneapolis. And so you got people who are there to make sure the neighbors are okay. There are these smoke bombs and fumes and stuff all in the air. And like, you're watching people look out of their windows to see what's going on. So there are people who show up just to care for the neighborhood, to make sure that people understand what's going on outside and that they stay inside, right? So there, when I got there, I'm using this particular scene because I saw it escalate to, the street full of smoke. When I watched the TV to see when I got in the house and I was looking at that street, it didn't look like what I left out the house and went to that quickly. So I think both things are happening. It's just a matter of when you are you there at the beginning and it hasn't escalated yet? Because once it gets to the point where it's like a fight where ICE is fighting with the protester, that I mean, by the end of the night there's garbages everywhere and like these barricades kind of being put up that the protesters are, I'm using the word agitators because by the end of the night for me I saw like the North Side residents who were there, or people who were there with the whistles, the grandmas that were outside, the because there's a lot of older people outside who are protesting too, but they leave. They don't want to inhale the gases that are being launched out on like there's a point where people leave.
So what do you advise citizens or your own constituents to do if they see actions of ICE or Border Patrol? Have you issued guidance?
So my guidance has been, make sure you stay safe. Do not I don't like it when people use themselves as like a shield to try to make some type of like what I've been noticing is people thinking like I should step in and do something. I don't think that's safe for people, especially since we've seen 2 people killed. Like, don't think that you're the person who is going to change or de-escalate this action. Like, stay as safe as you can. I know that there's a way to have a peaceful protest. Friday, I don't know the numbers. They were saying like 20,000 people showed up to peacefully protest. That is fantastic, right? Like, we want those sort of organized, that was an organized labor protest. It was like a whole day of events. Like, I get that, but like, don't go into these situations where we don't know if you're safe or not. You don't know if you're safe or not. That for me is different. And so I'm not calling on people to do those things. I'm asking people to be safe. I know we all want to protect our neighbors, but I don't want anyone putting themselves in harm's way.